mutual fund schemes, and that is in 46 companies spread over the India, and second population comprises 5,000 fund managers. So further, it is a survey-based research work. Inclusion of all population unit is not possible within limited period of study. As such, the researcher is on the other way bound to carry out the research on the limited unit of the population that is elaborated in sample design. So next one is sample frame. So the biggest limitation of any research lies in its inability to conduct the research by including all relevant unit of the phenomena included in research. So the research is liable to be conducted on the basis of samples. The researcher has used two different types of samples. The first sample consists of 30 mutual fund schemes, and four types, and a total 10 categories. The second sample consists of 100 fund managers. So first one is selection of first sample. What is the best? So SEBI has categorized mutual fund schemes into diverse range under each fund type, like equity, debt, hybrid, and others. So under each fund type, schemes are chosen according to the popularity of the scheme names. Finally, under each scheme, sample companies were selected according to top average asset under management from January to March 2018. Only open-ended schemes were chosen because closed-ended are not taken into consideration because of the ready available to data and the liquidity concern. So while selecting schemes, care was taken to select schemes from different companies under a particular fund category in order to avoid multiplicity in the work. So following schemes are chosen like in four category. One is the equity, debt, hybrid, and others. So in equity, that is large cap, mid cap, small cap, and a multi cap. And in debt, liquidity fund, money market fund, and gilt fund. So in hybrid, conservative hybrid and multi-asset allocation. And in others, that is taken into consideration index fund. So these are the population. So in large cap, this is 65. In mid cap, that is 30. In small cap, 45. Multi cap, 73. Debt liquidity, 44. Debt money market, 23. Debt gilt fund, 24. Hybrid conservative, 23. Hybrid multi-asset, 8. And index fund, 104. So that is the sample size determination formula. And after putting the formula, just taken into consideration the highest number, that is 104. The researcher found that is 3. So considering the similar to continue the similarity, the total 3 number from each scheme are selected for the analysis. So on an average, there are 46 different mutual fund companies and 8,161 different schemes categories in India. It is not possible to include all the schemes by the part of the researcher. Only 3 different companies were chosen from each category on the basis of top average asset under management. So further, only those companies having track record of last 5 years, that is from 2013 to 2018, with available quarterly return were chosen for this study. So this is the sample company. Under equity large cap, that is Aditya Birla, SBI Blue Chip, and ICICI Prudential Blue Chip. And in mid cap scheme, that is HDFC mid cap, Reliance Growth Fund Growth Plan, and Sundaram mid cap. And in equity small cap, that is Reliance small cap, Franklin India smaller companies, and DSP small cap fund, and multi cap fund, that is HDFC equity fund, Reliance multi cap fund, and Franklin India equity fund. And a debt fund, that is Aditya Birla Sun Life fund, HDFC liquidity fund, ICICI Prudential liquidity fund. And in money market fund, that is UTI MMF, and another one, the ICICI Prudential money market fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life money manager fund. And in the gilt fund, that is SBI Magnum gilt fund, HDFC gilt fund, Reliance gilt fund, etc. So in hybrid conservative fund, that is HDFC hybrid debt fund, Aditya Birla Sun Life regular, then Reliance hybrid bond. Then in multi-asset allocation, that is ICICI UTI multi-asset, SBI multi-asset, and in index fund, that is Nifty index, UTI Nifty index, HDFC index, and SBI Nifty index. So these are the sample companies. So on the basis of selection of second sample, the researcher has tried to contact more than 100 fund managers through the mail, but only 100 respondents give the data, given the data. So the sample size was restricted to 100 managers only. The sample size is justified using the rule, and that is I have taken from S.C. Gupta book, and after putting the formula, the researcher found 100 sample can taken into consideration for analysis. Then come to instrument design. So the importance of measuring the accuracy and consistency of the research instrument, especially like questionnaire, it is commonly known as validity and reliability. So measures of internal consistency and reliability. So Cronbach alpha is the most common measure of reliability. So the researchers have taken Cronbach alpha. It is commonly used when we have multiple liquid questions and in the survey questionnaire that is from a scale, and we wish to determine if the scale is reliable. A scale is considered reliable when it gives familiar and repeatable result in the different applications of or with different samples. The reliability of the questionnaire is tested through SPSS in the Cronbach alpha. So the validity of the test. The validity of the questionnaire is tested with the evidence that the research hypothesis about the relationship between the measured concept derived from a theory in the review of literature is supported. So validity of the questionnaire was also tested through Pearson correlation method using SPSS. So now sources of data collection. So the study is based on both primary and secondary data, as the last objective is related to primary data. So coming to secondary source, sample are collected on the secondary source through mutual fund, fact sheet, magazine, mutual fund insight. Addition to this, other journal, magazines, article, books, published and unpublished document of mutual fund have been taken into consideration for secondary sources. And for primary sources, only one sample data has been collected from primary source. That data set comprises 100 fund managers. So methods of secondary data collection. One set of data has been collected from secondary sources, which includes the capital market, chartered financial analyst, outlook, SEBI annual report, RBI report, RBI report on currency finance, RBI bulletin, management accountant, portfolio organizer, economic and political weekly, finance India, etc. The data relating to growth of the mutual fund industry and regulatory framework of mutual of funds have been collected from SEBI website. The required data relating to net asset value of various public and private sector mutual fund schemes has been collected on quarterly basis for the study period from the Financial Express and MFA India and mutualfundindia.com, etc. So method of collection of primary data. So more than 500 fund managers were randomly selected for the website of different mutual fund companies for conducted through mail, but the researchers could collect the relevant data from 100 respondents only. The fund managers were requested to give their views on 17 fund related questions. And in a scale, so in 5 point of ranking scale from 1 to 5, in 5 that is strongly disagree, in 4 that is disagree, in 3 is neither agree nor disagree, in 2 that is agree, and 1 that is strongly agree. Only 17 found related variables are included in the questionnaire. The variables in the questionnaire were set by reviewing different literature by sending informal questionnaire to the fund managers through the email. So period of the data collection. So researchers have collected data in the period from 2013 to 2018. So the framework of data analysis and tools used. So data has been analyzed on the basis of following indicators.
Bishwajit, I would like to tell you one thing. Somewhere, again, sir, somewhere you have written, you have taken data from 2013 to 2017, and somewhere you have taken data, you have written also, you have taken data from up to 2018, which is correct exactly.
What is that? 2013 to 18, sir.
ଏଠି ତମେ ଦେଖିଛ ତ 13 ରୁ 17 ଲେଖିଛ।
Sir, 2013 to 18.
ତମେ ତ ପ୍ରଥମେ ଯୋଉ କରିଛ ତମର ଇଣ୍ଟ୍ରୋଡକ୍ସନ ରେ ତମେ ଲେଖିଛ 2013 ରୁ 2017. So which is correct actually. And second thing, Bishwajit, I found that
Sir, 13 to 17. Actually, sir, 18 day.
ଏଇଠି ଦେଖ ତମେ ଲେଖିଛ ଫ୍ରେମୱାର୍କ ଯୋଉ କରିଛ ସେଇଟାକୁ ବି ଦେଖ and everywhere you have written.
Sir, data ଟା ଅଠରେ collection ଲାଗେ finance ହେଲା 2017. Sir.
Bishwajit,
Yes, sir.
So in many places you have written, you have collected data from 2013 to 2017. But in other places also you have taken data from 2018 and you have also made some interpretation.
Sir, actually, the period of study is 2013 to 18. In 18, I have collected data of 17. The financial year 2017.
You go to your scope of study, you have written the period of study is 2013 to 2017. You have not written 2018 there. So moreover, Bishwajit, what I identify, what I am very carefully I am observing your presentation and I am very carefully I have gone through all those things. But it is required certain kind of like research thrust-based approach. So you have done, no doubt you have tried your best level and thing is that, but certain thing is not up to very much meeting the requirement of your objectives along with what you have written there. This is not matching actually. You have written 5,000 fund managers you have come across and you have taken the feedback. How come is it possible?
Sir, actually, I have contacted 800 fund managers throughout the mail and received data from only responded from 100
Through
fund
mail
managers.
means through mail means you might have fund managers they have responded to your mail.
Yes, sir.
100 fund managers.
Sir.
Because your topic is a very broad topic.
Yes, sir.
And since the topic is very broad, so you have to narrow down the objectives to the help of hypothesis so that you could have drawn a very suitable kind of like conclusion on the basis of your analysis. So that I had written in my past report to make it somehow very as per the requirement of the thesis only. And you have what you have analyzed in many cases whenever you have written that your study is limited in the period of 2013 to 17. So you are restricted to take the data from 2018.
No, sir, actually, I have collected data in 18, but data for 2017. The financial because data is historical data.
No. You are telling a wrong answer because you see you go to your analysis. You have analyzed 2018 data.
Sir, 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 5 year data, sir.
But 2018 quarter you have taken also.
Yes, sir.
So what is the use of taking 2018 quarter data?
Sir, it is historical data. So in 2017,
whether it is historical, whether it is any type of like thing you have taken, but for analysis purposes, period of data you have collected that will go
2017.
Starting
That is
up
2017.
to analysis.
That is 2017,
Sir,
sir.
Moisture Sahu is there, Professor Sahu is also there, sir. I request you to suggest in this context what can be done. And you please suggest this color. Professor Sahu, please give your inputs.
Sir,
Moisture Sahu, sir.
Yes.
sir, ଟିକେ unmute kindly. No, sir, kindly unmute. I think network problem is there.
There must be some network
Yes, sir.
problem. But thing is that whenever we are preparing a scholar for the benefit of the society, for benefit of the teaching community, so we must take maximum care so that there should not be any flaw in thesis, because it is the document, it will speak about the research. So we should go again and again, state-wise, we should verify the thesis, because I had given you a very wide scope to verify the things and to make it proper. Because I deliberately I want to see that how you are going to rectify the problem areas, the identified points what I have identified, I had identified. So on that, it was expected to do something. This is my personal expectation, because you see, we give priority on research because you see, research is the most important. It is the highest degree of an university.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let us we should pay adequate respect to the degree also. And you have taken a very common and very broad area, and you are supposed to narrow down the your kind of like objectives in such a manner it would match to the hypothesis, and through by the help of your hypothesis you could you could have landed properly for getting proper analysis. Professor Rao, please, Moisture sir, please unmute your mic and you please, I want to
Yes.
throw some light on this.
Actually, this is when I was just going through his presentation. This is I found that the topic that he has just taken, but here the sample that he has taken, that is performance analysis. So that is just taking the different the what schemes he has taken. At the same time, how can he make study of the fund managers? And the fund managers, what the parameters they are just taking, it is difficult to study, and how he has collected, that is a question mark. Okay. Then another thing is that when you are just doing performance analysis, that you have just taken so many samples of all the shares, which will be all will be different from each other. You have taken, that is with that one you have taken just quarterly, that you are just calculating, and comparing the index return with the fund return, benchmark return. So out of taking all that is all the schemes, how is it possible? So that is getting to that. He has just taken to all these things, but it's very difficult to come to this. He just findings. Which parameters that he has taken, it is doubtful. Let's just give him a chance. At least how he has just analyzed through that only answer the presentations. That is of the analysis that we can just go. But it is that
Yes.
he has taken the both the target groups. It's very difficult to study. Fund managers, unless you go primarily to collect data primarily from
Yes.
them, so you cannot go for getting any data from the fund managers regarding their
Yes.
fund decisions. You
Yes.
can
Yes.
take secondary data. That is you have taken large caps, some small caps. This is, but all the caps that you have taken, I can just make this analysis. Either you can take large cap of some companies or that middle cap of some companies can get. And how large with the middle with the small you can make all the analysis. It is very very chaotic situation. So that is what I found. He just going and getting the
Sir,
scope is
sir,
very
actually,
very high.
I have taken.
Huh.
Sir, I will request, sir.
Yes.
Sir, Mysore, sir,
Huh.
I will have one request. Let him allow to, sir, finish the presentation. Then, sir,
Okay.
we will discuss, sir.
Okay. Okay. Then you directly come from theoretical part
Sir, I
and
have actually taken the data from fund managers. No,
Sir,
okay.
kindly, sir.
Okay. Okay. Come to the analysis part. Then it will be better.
Then, sir, will discuss and Professor D.P. Mishra, sir, is with us. And will also suggest, sir. Kindly, sir, let's allow him, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, you go for the analysis part. Okay.
sir, to analyze the data, return analysis is applied. Return analysis have always been the basis benchmark while going for any investment. It is indicate how much fund has gained or lost during the particular investment tenure. The performance of mutual fund companies during 2013 and 17 has been assessed through quarterly average return in different years. Further, beta value is calculated to determine an investment security market risk and its appropriateness for the particular investor's risk tolerance. So R squared value is purposefully calculated to test whether beta value is relevant to fund performance or not. So CAGR formula like compound annual growth rate and forecasting formula is applied for that, and average annual return is a common measure for mutual fund. As such, the researcher first calculated the annualized return and then CAGR to calculate the mean annual growth rate of an investment over a specified period of time longer than 1 year. So exponential smoothing technique is also used to forecast the value in 2017, and the error in estimation is calculated by using mean absolute deviation, that is called MAD, and mean absolute percentage error, that is called MAP. Exponential smoothing method is suitable for forecasting this data with no clear trend or seasonal pattern. So another one is to analysis of risk return parameter of these funds. So investing by considering only historical return in mutual fund schemes before investing. So for hypothesis testing, the hypothesis framed in relation to different objectives are further tested by using different formulas. Like student T test is tried to exhibit the significant relation between index return and scheme return, and the researchers have tried to test the significance.
Bishwajit, you are advised to run the slide so that we can see the slides.
On the slides, what you are exactly presenting, that will show the slides.
So this is so a student T test is tried to exhibit the significant relation between index return and scheme return, And again, the researcher had tried to test the significance of difference in average return of the selected funds with their respective index by using student T statistics. So another in Kendall's coefficient of coordinates was used to test the uniformity in the ranking system used by Sartino, Jensen, Tenor, and Fama. And then for objective 5, factor analysis is used to identify the underlying dimensions of factors that explain the correlation among the set of variables that define the investment pattern of the fund managers in the mutual fund. So in the data analysis is carried out in two sections. Section B. So section A emphasizes on return parameter, risk analysis of the growth rate of the mutual fund companies during the period 2013 to 17. Section B deals with the testing of hypothesis framed in the in relation to different objectives of the research. So in return analysis done through quarterly average and standard deviation of return for each fund. The standard deviation shows the fluctuation in the return in that particular year. So further, beta and R squared value were calculated to the market risk, to know the market risk. And beta and R squared value analysis. So first one is beta analysis. Investors can use beta to determine an investment security market risk. So beta is calculated to measuring the risk pattern. So beta, if beta greater than 1, it shows the high sensitivity of scheme return against the market being aggressive. So beta value less than 1 indicates defensive nature of the scheme. So R squared is simply is a measure of correlation of the portfolio returns to the benchmark of return. R squared value ranges from 0 to 1, and higher the R squared indicates the more useful of beta figure. If the R squared is lower, then the beta is less relevant to the fund's performance. So analysis of growth rate and forecasting the error. So annual growth rate was calculated by using CAGR. Further attempt is made to calculate the absolute error and the absolute percent error by using mean absolute deviation and mean absolute percentage error by comparing the actual value with estimated value. So CAGR is a superior measure by calculating compounded return, that simple return, with the following formula, like CAGR is equal to Pn by PO to the power 1 by n minus 1 into 100. So Pn refers to annualized return of ending period. So PO is annualized return of beginning period. So the researchers have used exponential smoothing technique to forecast the return in 2017. So exponential smoothing, exponential weighted moving average with a smoothing constant alpha corresponds roughly to simple moving average where alpha and n are related by alpha is equal to 2 by n plus 1, n is equal to 5 because the study period is 5 years. So the basic formula is ST is equal to alpha by t minus 1 plus 1 minus alpha into ST minus 1. Where alpha, the smoothing constant, a value from 0 to 1, where alpha is close to 0, smoothing happens more slowly, t is equal to time period. So mean absolute percentage error is calculated with 1 by n sigma 1 by n summation of actual value minus forecasted value by actual value. So mean absolute deviation is calculated like this formula. So the percent error is estimation for all other funds are comparatively low. It is reflects there is less degree of variability during that period, and the same is also evident from last analysis of beta and R squared value. So analysis of performance evaluation of mutual fund based on risk return parameter. So to find out the risk return parameter involved in mutual funds, there are different models I have tested like Sharpe ratio, Sartino ratio, Jensen ratio, Tenor ratio, and Fama ratio. So in Sharpe ratio, the greater a fund Sharpe ratio, the better its risk adjusted performance. So Sharpe ratio resulted negative value. The result in a negative Sharpe ratio are due to greater risk-free rate than the fund return. So in either case, a negative Sharpe ratio does not convey any useful meaning. So therefore, the fund are not ranked as per the negative index of Sharpe. So in the ranking system, survey has eliminated. So in certainty ratio, a large certainty ratio indicate there is a low probability of large loss. So higher certainty ratio reflect that there are lesser chance of downside deviation in the mutual fund schemes. So in Jensen ratio, in this case, alpha measures is the difference between fund actual return and expected return, given its level of risk, considering the risk. So investors are often advised to pick funds with high Jensen alpha ratio. When choosing the funds, Jensen ratio can taken into consideration. So in tenor ratio used to use beta as a risk substitute. It evaluates excess return with regard to systematic risk. So tenor ratio taking the consideration of systematic risk, scheme with higher tenor index implies better performance. So when tenor ratio is high, the fund performing better. So in PHAMA ratio, PHAMA develops a methodology that helps us to become selectivity skills into diversification return and net selectivity. The PHAMA net selectivity measures an absolute measure of performance. So testing of hypothesis. So a set of hypotheses have been formulated on various theories. In this chapter, an attempt has been made to test an hypothesis formulated in relation to objective. So first one is the relationship between the scheme and market. So the coefficient of correlation helps to identify the similarity in the behavior of scheme and market rate of return. So lower the correlation, better the diversification of portfolio. When the correlation value is lower, then we can diversify the portfolio. T-test is used to test hypothesis 1 with the purpose to verify the extent of relationship between the market and scheme using the correlation of coefficient. So in hypothesis 1, this is index return and scheme return are correlated. So null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis are created. So in null hypothesis, the index return and scheme return are not significantly related, and next one is index returns and scheme returns are significantly related. So the null hypothesis is rejected here for the majority of funds with 5 level significance. Hence, it is concluded that the hypothesis is rejected, and so index return and scheme return is significantly related to each other. So for hypothesis 2, student T statistics applied. Student T statistics have been used to test significance of difference in average quarterly return of the funds with respect to its benchmark index in connection to objective 2. So the following null and alternative hypotheses are set to test the following hypothesis, like the fund always performs at par with the benchmark index. So here the hypotheses are there exists no significant difference in average quarterly return of the fund and the benchmark index, and another one, the exists significant difference in average quarterly return of the fund and benchmark index. So the T value for 4 funds like Sundaram mid cap, SDFC mid cap, Reliance small cap, and DSP small cap is significant at 5 level of significance, and it is insignificant at 5 level of significance for rest 26, rest another 26 fund. So it is therefore concluded that the most fund of the performance are at par with the index. So here null hypothesis is accepted. There is no significant differences average quarterly return of the fund and the benchmark index. So Kendall's coefficient of concordance is used to ranking the applied formulas. So the ranking system of performance evaluation measure used by Sortino, Jensen, Tenner and PHAMA are correlated for objective 4. So the null hypothesis here is there is no agreement among the given set of ranking, and alternative hypothesis there is exist agreement among the given set of ranking. So null hypothesis is in general gets rejected if the calculated value is more than tabulated value. In these sets of the calculated value is more than tabulated value at 5% level of significance, and null hypothesis is rejected and alternative is accepted. This indicates the agreement among the given set of ranking used by Sortino, Jensen, Tenner and PHAMA. And for objective 5, factor analysis have analyzed. So factor analysis is a general name denoting a class of procedure used for data reduction and summarizing the analyzing the fact thereof. It is technique that used to reduce the large number of variables into fewer number of factors. So the purpose of this study is to identify the underlying dimensions of factors that explain the investment pattern of fund managers in mutual fund selection. So actually that objective 5 is created only to know the factors that influencing the investors. That factors is given by fund managers, and we are finding the variables from by reviewing the literature. The 17 variables we have chosen, and that is cited in a questionnaire. So the data have been collected through questionnaire method based on 17 fund related questions. So the reliability and validity of the questionnaire was tested using SPSS. So the purpose of this study is to identify underlying dimensions or factors that influence the investment decision of fund managers. So factors that is also necessary to know why we will purchase that fund. So for that purpose, factor analysis explores 4 important factors. The one is intrinsic qualities of the fund, portfolio management, extra benefit, and image of the fund. So throughout going to the analysis of the data, the researchers have find these outcomes. So coming to the outcomes of objective 1, and that is return analysis. First, return analysis of large cap fund. So Aditya Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity Fund. So the average return 9.625% was maximum in 2014 and lowest minus 0.2% in 2015. So that the investment in the fund was risky in 2015. The average return was negative in 2013, but the market behavior of the fund was quite predictable. There was highest risk in the investment in Aditya Birla Sun Life Frontline Equity Fund due to capital market fluctuation in 2014, because as it is directly related to different equity in the capital market. So next one is SBI Blue Chip Fund. The average return was 10.45%, was maximum in 2014 and lowest in 2016, that was 0.775%. There is no risk factor in the fund. The market was quite fluctuating, and the average return was also lowest in 2016. The negative beta values indicate the lower degree of price movement of SBI Blue Chip Fund in comparison to the capital market. So next one is ICICI Prudential Blue Chip Fund growth. So the average return was 6.95%, was maximum in 2017 and lowest minus 0.45%, 4.75% in 2015. The negative average percentage return in 2015 indicates that there is a risk in investing in the particular fund. The higher degree of standard deviation, 7.1 in 2016, signifies the unexpected market behavior in 2016. So that is that fund was quite unexpected. The fund was more volatile in 2014. Beta value are negative in other years, indicating the less degree of price movement of ICICI Prudential Blue Chip Fund growth in comparison to market. On the other hand, R-squared value for all the years are low, indicating less relevant beta to the fund performance. And return analysis of mid-cap fund. So first one is HDFC Mid-Cap Opportunity Fund growth. The average return was 15.35%, was maximum in 2014 and lowest 0.72% in 2015. The positive average percentage return for all the years clearly indicates the risk-free factor in that fund. So it is clear that the market was quite fluctuating, and the average return was also low in 2013. But the market was less fluctuating with the low degree of percentage return, 0.725 in 2015. Lower degree of beta value in all 5 years clearly indicate the fund was less volatile in 2013 to 2017. On the other hand, the lower R squared value for all the year indicates less relevant beta to the fund's performance. And next one is Reliance Growth Fund in the category of mid cap fund. The negative average percent return in 2016, 15, and 13 indicates that there is a risk of investing in the particular fund. The average return 9% was maximum in 2017 and lowest is minus 1% in 2013. The high standard deviation in 2016, 14, 13 signifies the unexpected market behavior in these years. So lower degree of beta value in and lower R squared value for all the years indicates less relevant beta to fund performance. So next one in this category in mid fund is Sundaram mid cap fund growth. So the positive average percent return for all the years indicates risk-free factor in the fund, but the market was quite fluctuating in the year like 2014 with high average return. So at the same time, market was less fluctuating with lower degree of percentage return in 2015. Beta value are negative in all the years, so indicating the less degree of price movement of Sundaram mid cap fund in comparison to capital market. On the other hand, R squared value for all the years are low, indicating less relevant beta to the fund performance. And next one is debt fund. In debt fund category, first company is Aditya Birla Sun Life Liquid Fund Growth Direct. The average return was approximately equal in all years. There is no risk-free factor in the fund. So the zero standard deviation in 2017 indicates the constant return in different quarters. So lower degree of standard deviation in almost all the years signifies that the fund was not fluctuating more during the period 2013 to 17. The fund was more volatile in 2014 and 17, but the higher R squared value in 2016 and 2014 indicates more relevant beta to the fund performance. Then next one is HDFC Liquid Fund Direct Plan Growth. So the average return was approximately equal in all the years and all are positive, indicating risk-free factor in the fund. The constant return in different quarters resulting zero standard deviation in 2014. So lower degree of standard deviation in almost all the years signifies that the fund was fluctuating much during the period 2013 to 2017. The fund was more volatile in 2016 and less volatile in 2017. Beta value is relevant to fund performance in 2016 and 2017. And next company in this category is ICICI Prudential Liquid Fund Direct Plan Growth. So the positive average return was approximately equal in all the years, indicating the equal performance during the year 2013 to 2017. The fund was not fluctuating much during the period, so the fund was more volatile and the beta value is relevant to fund performance in 2016 and 13. But the fund was less volatile in 2015. And next category is multi-cap fund. So in multi-cap fund, the first company is HDFC Equity Fund Growth Option. So the positive average percent return for all the years indicates a risk-free return in the fund. So the average return was maximum with high standard deviation in 2014. The market was unexpected in 2013 and it was quite expected in 2015 with low rate of return. The fund was not much volatile in 2013. There is less degree of price movement of the HDFC Equity Fund Growth Option in comparison to capital market. Low R squared value for all the years indicate less relevant beta to the fund performance. So the next fund in this category is Reliance Multi-Cap Fund Growth Option. So the positive average percent return in 2013 and 2014 indicates risk-free factor in the fund. The average return was maximum with a high standard deviation in 2014. The market was more fluctuating in 2013 with less degree of average return in comparison to others. And the market was quite expected in 2015 with low rate of return. Negative beta value in all years, like expect 2013, indicate the less degree of price movement of Reliance multi-cap fund growth option as compared to the other market. R squared value for all the years are low, indicating less relevant beta to the fund performance. And last fund in this category is Franklin India Equity Growth Fund. And in this fund, the average return was maximum in 2014 with medium standard deviation. The positive average percent return for all the years indicate risk-free factor in this fund. So the market was more fluctuating in 2013 in this fund with low return, but the market was quite expected in 2015 with low rate of return. The lower degree of positive beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement. So Franklin India equity fund growth as compared to other market, but the beta value was more relevant to the fund performance in the year 2014 and 17. So next one is Guild Fund. So under this category, the first company is SBI Magnum Guild Fund Direct Plan Growth. The average return was positive in all the years, indicating risk-free factor in the fund. The market in 2017 was same as in 2013. The market was quite expected in almost all year except 2014. The lower degree of positive beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement of SBI Magnum Fund as compared to other markets. Beta value was most relevant to the fund performance in the year 2013. So next company is HDFC Guild Fund Direct Plan Growth. So the average return was positive in all the years, indicating risk-free return in the fund. So standard deviation was low in the all other years. So the market was quite expected in almost all year except 2013 with comparatively low degree of average return. The lower degree of positive beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement of HDFC fund plan growth as compared to other market. Beta was relevant to the fund performance in the year 2013. And next is last fund in this category is Reliance Guild Security Fund Direct Plan Growth. So in that company, the average return was positive and low in all the years, and there is no risk factor in that fund. So market was quite expected in almost all year except 2013 only. With comparatively low degree of average return, the lower degree of positive beta value in all the years indicate the less degree of price movement of Reliance Guild Fund as compared to other markets. So beta was relevant to fund performance in the year 2013. So next category is hybrid fund. So the first company is HDFC hybrid fund in that category. The average return was positive and low in all the years, and so there is no risk factor in that fund. The market was quite expected in almost all years except 2013 only, with comparatively low degree of average return. The lower degree of beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement of Reliance HDFC growth fund as compared to other market during 2013 to 17. So the beta value is relevant in 2014 and 2013. So next fund is Aditya Birla Sun Life Regular Saving Fund Growth. So in that company, the positive average return in all the years indicate no risk-free factor in the fund with less return. So the market was quite expected in almost all year except 2013 with comparatively low degree of average return. The fund was more volatile in the year 2017, but the beta value was most relevant to the fund performance in the year 2013. So last company in that category is Reliance Hybrid Bond Fund Growth. So in that company, the average return were positive and low in all the years from 2013 to 2017, and so there is no risk-free factor in that fund. So the market was quite expected in almost all years with comparatively low degree of average return. The lower degree of beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement of Reliance Hybrid Bond fund as comparable to other market. Beta value was most relevant to the fund performance in 2013. So next category is multi-asset allocation. So in that category, the first company is ICICI Prudential Multi-Asset Fund Growth. So the average return were positive and low in all the years from 2013 to 2017, and so there is no risk-free factor in this fund. The market was quite expected in almost all the year, except with comparatively low degree of average return. The lower degree of beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement of Reliance fund as compared to other markets. Beta value was most relevant to the fund performance in 2013. So next company is UTI multi-asset fund regular growth. The average return were positive and low in all the year like 2017, 16 and 14, and so there is no risk-free factor in that fund. But the average return in 2015 and 13 were negative, and so there is a risk in investing in that fund in the year like 2015 to 13. So the market was slightly fluctuating in the year like 2013 and 14. The lower degree of beta value in all the years indicates the less degree of price movement of UTI multi-asset fund as compared to other market. The beta value were not relevant to the fund performance. So last company is SBI multi-asset allocation fund growth. So in that fund, the average return were positive and low in the all the years from 2013 to 17, and so there is no risk-free factor in that fund. The market was quite expected in almost all the years with comparatively low degree of average return. The lower degree of beta value in all the years indicates less degree of price movement of SBI multi-asset allocation fund. So as compared to other market, the beta value are not relevant to the fund performance here. And the last category is indexed fund. So the first company is UTI Nifty Index Fund. So there is no risk-free factor in the fund in all the years except 2015. The market was fluctuating in the year like 2013 and 16 with comparatively low degree of average return. The average return was highest in 2017 with slight high standard deviation of 4.45. On an average, the market was fluctuating during the period 2013 to 2017 in that company. The fund was more volatile in 2014. The lower degree of beta value indicates the less degree of price movement of UTI Nifty Index as compared to other market. The beta value were also not relevant to the fund performance. And second one is HDFC Index Fund, directly related to Nifty 50 Plan Direct. So the positive average return in all the year except 2015 indicates no risk-free factor in that fund. So the market was also quite unexpected almost all the years. The fund was more volatile in the year 2014. The lower degree of beta value in all the other years indicates the less degree of price movement of UTI Nifty Index Fund as compared to other market. The beta value are also not relevant to the fund performance. And the last company is SBI Nifty Index Fund. And in that company, the average return was high in 2014 and 2017. The positive average return in all year except 2015 indicates no risk-free factor in that fund. The standard deviation was also high in all the years. So the market was quite unexpected in almost all the years. So the fund was more volatile in 2014. The lower degree of beta value in all other years indicates the less degree of price movement of UTI Nifty Index Fund as compared to other market. So the beta value also were not relevant to the fund performance. And next one is money market fund. So in money market fund, that is UTI Money Market Fund. First company is UTI Money Market Fund. The positive and low average return in all the year indicate no risk-free factor in the fund. Lower degree of standard deviation in all the years implies that the market was quite expected in almost all years with less average return. So the fund was more volatile in the period in the year 2014 and 2016, and beta value was relevant to the fund performance. So second company in the money market fund is ICICI Prudential Money Market Fund. So the average return in the is low with a low degree of standard deviation in the year 2013 and 2013 to 2017. The positive average return in all the years also indicate no risk-free factor in that fund. So the market was quite expected almost all years with less average return. The fund was more volatile in the year 2014. The lower degree of beta value in all other years indicate the less degree of price movement in ICICI Prudential Money Market Fund as compared to other markets. So, but beta value was relevant to the fund performance in the year 2015. So last company in that category of money market fund is Aditya Birla Sun Life Money Manager Fund. So the average return was low in all the years with a low degree of standard deviation. So there is no risk factor with the fund in all years, and market was quite expected in almost all years with a less average return. So the fund was more volatile in the year 2013 and 2016, and the beta value are more relevant to the fund performance. The lower degree of beta value in all the years indicates less degree of price movement of Aditya Birla Sun Life Fund, so as compared to other market. And the last category is small cap fund, and under this fund, the first company is Reliance Small Cap Fund. So the average return was very high in 2014 and 2017. The positive average return in all the years indicate no risk-free factor in that fund. So the standard deviation was also high in all the years. So the market was quite unexpected in almost all the years. But in 2013, the market was highly fluctuated with low average return. The lower degree of beta value indicates the less degree of price movement of Reliance Small Cap Fund as compared to other market. The beta value are not relevant to the fund performance. Franklin India smaller companies is the next company in that category. So the average return was highest in 2017 and lowest in 2015. The positive average return in all the years indicates no risk-free return in the fund. So the market was quite unexpected in almost all the years. But in 2013, the market was highly fluctuating with low average return. The lower degree of beta value indicates the less degree of price movement of Franklin India smaller plan as compared to other market. The beta value were not relevant to the fund performance. And the last company is DSP Small Cap Fund. And under this company, I found the average return was highest in 2014 and lowest in 2013. There is no risk-free factor in that fund, but the market was quite unexpected in almost all the years. But in the year 2013, the market was highly fluctuating with low average return. The lower degree of beta value indicates the less degree of price movement of DSP Small Cap Fund. So as comparable to other market, and also lower degree of R squared value indicates that the beta value were not relevant to the fund performance. So, next findings is comes with connect to objective 3, and that is analysis of annual growth rate and forecasting the errors, and the annual return of HDFC equity fund growth option have shown the highest growth rate of 69%. DSP small cap fund regular growth by 67%, Reliance multi cap fund growth option by 60%, ICICI Prudential blue chip fund growth by 59%, Reliance Gilt security fund direct plan growth has been shown the growth by 1% only. But Aditya Birla Sun Life liquid fund growth direct, Aditya Birla Sun Life money manager fund direct plan growth, and DSP small cap fund regular growth have shown their growth by negative in like -7% over the period of the study. So the percent of error estimation is high for SBI Magnum Gilt Fund Direct Plan growth, that is 152.22, and Franklin Equity Fund growth 137.5, Reliance Multi-Cap Fund growth option, that is 118.51, and UTI Nifty Index Fund growth direct option 138.4, and HDFC equity fund growth option 97.304, and HDFC Gilt Fund Direct Plan growth 137.5. Such higher average and annual return. So सर ठीक है ये कर दो सर पड़ेगा सर ठीक है सर वाईफाई टा कटी जाऊ तो सर ठीक है मो कनेक्शन देख तो सिम टू ऑफ करनी yes sir yes. And findings based on objective 4 and that findings come from analyzing various formulas like Sharpe ratio, Sortino ratio and Jensen ratio and Tenor ratio and Farmer ratio. So coming to first one is Sharpe ratio. So Sharpe ratio only for Reliance small cap fund growth is positive and the ratio for rest of the fund is negative. So in this test reveals 29 fund are not performing very well. So the result in a negative Sharpe ratio are due to greater risk-free rate than the fund return. So in either case, the negative Sharpe ratio does not convey any useful meaning in that study. So therefore, the fund are not ranked as per the negative index of Sharpe. So Sortino ratio. So expect Reliance small cap fund growth Sortino ratio for all other fund is positive, and it indicates lower chance of large loss of the fund. So as per the Sortino index, ICICI Prudential Money Market Fund Direct Plan growth is ranked as 1, ICICI Prudential Liquid Fund Direct ranked as 2, and Reliance Small Cap Fund growth as 30, and the fund with high chance of large loss. And injection ratio, only 2 funds, HDFC Equity and SBI Magnum Gilt have positive ratio, indicating the better performed fund in comparison to other fund. If the value is positive, then the portfolio is earning excess return. In other words, a positive value for Jensen Alpha means the fund manager has beat the market with his or her stock picking skill. So the negative index for rest 26 fund implies underperformance of the fund during the entire period of this study. As per Jensen Alpha, HDFC Equity Fund ranked 1 and SBI Magnum Fund ranked as 2. Reliance Small Cap ranked as 3 and Reliance Hybrid Fund ranked as last, like 30, and the lowest performed fund. So next is tenors ratio. Only 18 fund like SBI Nifty Index Fund, Direct Plan Growth, HDFC Index Fund, Nifty 50 Plan Direct, etc. have positive ratio, indicating a better risk-adjusted return in comparison to other fund. The negative tenor index implies that the scheme did not provide adequate return to cover risk-free return, not to the market risks during the entire period of this study. As scheme's tenor index was negative for the 12 funds as listed the above, the performance was not good compared to the market in all the 5 years studies. As per the tenor index, SBI Nifty Index Fund Direct Plan Growth as 1 and SDFC Index Fund as 2, UTI Nifty Index ranked as 30 in the lowest performed fund. So this is a very modern and new formula like Farmer ratio. So expected return on the fund due to systematic risk is positive for all the fund except HDFC Equity Fund growth option. The lowest return.
You just stop it because you have an exhaustive presentation you have made, and I think we should now go for some questions, and I think
Yes, sir.
it is already you have presented for so many times, and you have also taken so many bottle of waters also.
Sir, I will request, sir, I will request the candidate will present just what are the important recommendations and the suggestions out of his research work.
I
Okay,
will on the due course will ask him also.
Yes, sir.
Will be done because you see already it is 12:30. So we
Yes,
have
sir. Okay.
hour already we have taken, and we have some other assignments also by 1 o'clock. My other session will be started. So
Okay, okay. Sir,
looking
sir.
at that constraint and other parameters, let us because we have understood everything what he has presented and what he has done his best level to deliver the subject in
Yes.
depth. Only thing I have, I mean to say, very small thing I would like to tell him that the fund investment is in certain is invest in certain securities. The performance of fund depends on how this security performs. If stock market crash, then 80% of funds portfolio get impacted. So have you made any comparative analysis of year-wise this volatileness in your thesis? And in nutshell, I have, it is my personal perception or suggestion. In nutshell, the fund will perform based on how the underlying security performs. So, with this remarks, could you please, Bishwajit, tell us that have you taken any kind of like comparative analysis you have made year-wise, uh, in one frame, you could be knowing that what is the exact volatileness of funds and how does it in certain it depends on the underlying issues of security performance. So have you taken this
Sir,
analysis?
I have made, sir, I have made the research with taking the figure of net asset value and
I need you
Yes.
in a single table. Have you taken
Uh,
year-wise in 2013? This is the volatileness percentage. This is the I mean crash made. Because of that, this is the kind
sir,
of like
actually, sir, after the analysis of the taking the help of these ratios, sharp, Sotino, and all the ratios, I have made one ranking table, sir, and with considering that ranking table,
you have made ranking table.
yes, sir.
Please show that ranking table.
ठीक है ranking table, sir. कैसी से बच्चे sir?
hmm. In which case? Uh, Sir, it is mentioned in the project, sir, page number 214, sir.
In page number 214.
Yes,
I
sir.
Acha,
Ranking.
after making necessary correction, have you
Yes.
deposited the new thesis at your university?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hard copy you have deposited? Because I have no hard copy with me.
Sir, I have the university have sent, sir. Actually, I received it
Uh,
by also your university.
I have not received any hard copy. Only soft copy has been forwarded in my mail ID. On that basis only I am taking up your issues. And thing is that your university must send immediately after.
Sir, university has already sent and received by your university.
No issue, no issue. And that hard copy has already been deposited in university.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is your that idea? If actually you have made any rank, you just tell me. Year wise, what you have made? You have got your thesis in your hand.
Sir, actually, not your wise. Actually, your wise I have calculated R squared and beta analysis, and after the Sotino, Sharp, Taylor, Jensen, Fama, I have only taken
No,
from the
that
blanks.
that tools you have used, that formula you have used for analysis. I
Yes,
am
sir.
not telling that. I am telling that have you made any comprehensive table to identify the volatileness of fund investment and the underlying issues of securities, what exactly year-wise created
No,
impact?
sir. Actually, I have not taken the
Okay,
index.
not that can you tell me that you have not taken?
Yes, sir.
Ah, no
So
issue.
candidate has not done, sir, in year wise, sir, the
But it is
portfolios of
required.
mutual
You
fund companies.
see, candidate must. It is expected whenever, because I told you na, the topic is a very big topic. Vast topic should not be good
Yes,
in.
sir. Yes, sir.
It should be micro one. The topic is macro one. When the topic is macro one, the researcher face many difficulties. So the topic must be micro one. It is a very open topic. It is a very broad topic. So based on that, the scholar, if at all, has taken this responsibility with the consultation of the supervisor, there must be a comprehensive table so that any person is going to review the status, that will be enough to calculate and to analysis and to evaluate the 5 years volatileness. That
Um,
that was the use.
Sir, thank you, sir, for your sir nice compliment and supplement. So we are the young sir, the supervisor. Definitely, sir, your idea, your suggestion, definitely it will be helpful to us. Sir, with due permission from you, I will, sir, request Professor D.P. Mishra, sir, is the senior most faculty member of our university. Just, sir, is retired 30th April 2021. Sir, will give some sir ideas and with regard to the presentations, I will request to Professor D.P. Mishra, sir. D.P. Mishra, sir, kindly, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Arthabandhu Jana. Uh, all along, I have been listening the presentation of thesis by Mr. Bishwajit. But thing is that it is more than half an hour, 1.5 hours he has taken as a
Yes, sir.
coordinator, as a mediator or moderator of this. You should have taken a little bit. Yeah, uh, just don't allow such a large time presentation. It's not. It's boring because they have requested. I have other assignments, but Professor Baral has said that if it ମାନେ କଥା କ'ଣ ଯେତିକି gistରେ କହିବା କଥା, he should have taken more time for introductory part, and he has spoken many things in detail. All these things has no meaning because we are literate people, we are expert in that area, and ମୋର କହିବାର କଥା କ'ଣ, ଏତେ ସମୟ ନେବାର କଥା ନାହିଁ, ଆଉ ସିଏ ବି ମୁଁ ଦେଖିଲି 10 ଥର ଖଣ୍ଡେ ପାଣି ପିଇଲାଣି. So it's not that like that. It should be maximum 30 to 35 minutes presentation. Anyway, my
Sir,
observation is
nervousness, give.
that the topic is quite broad, and he has taken a number of companies from number of sectors like mid cap, large cap, these, that, so many things. Here, one thing I want to ask Mr. Vishwajit, that you
Yes.
have studied elaborately from different aspects. Can you say me that what would you suggest to a common investor with regard to mutual fund investment? Because
So go to
generally,
your
here the
suggestion, sir.
common investors are investing their money, precious money. But you said this is that risk, this is standard deviation, this, that. आर से common ଲୋକମାନଙ୍କର କିଛି मतलब ନାହିଁ. What, how much they are going to get return? That is very important. So can you tell me in one sentence that how do you suggest a common man to invest their money? This number one. Number two is that you have studied so many models prescribed by Johnson, Sharpe, Trainer, all these things. You have tested, but their models are not Indian models. Why don't you test the Indian models and say that this is applicable in India? ତମେ ଗୋଟେ ଆମେରିକାର ମଡେଲଟା ହେଇଛି ତାର ମଡେଲଟା that was developed in different condition. So here how this is helpful in Indian context. So ଏଇଥିରେ ମୋର ଦିଟା question ଉପରେ can you give me some idea regarding these 2 points?
Sir, actually, these models are very famous for evaluating the performance of mutual funds. So that is why, sir, I have taken these models to analyze the performance of the mutual.
No, no, ମାନେ ଆମ
So
ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ
that's why, sir,
କୌଣସି
I have.
ମଡେଲ ଡେଭଲପ ହେଇନାହିଁ କି? ଆମ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ ଏଇ ରକମର କିଛି ମଡେଲ ହେଇନାହିଁ କି ଯୋଉଟା କି ତମେ କାହିଁ ଟେଷ୍ଟ କଲନି whether it is validated or rejected ସେଇ ଯାକ ତ ସମସ୍ତେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି. That is okay. ମୁଁ ତାଇ ଉପରେ କଣ କଲ ସେଟା ଉପରେ ମୋର କମେଣ୍ଟ ନାହିଁ, but how it is helpful to Indian context because they have studied from their ମାନେ ସେଇ ଜାଗାର ସେଇ ପରିସ୍ଥିତି କି ଧରିକି ସେମାନେ they have taken the parameters these that they have studied and they have given the conclusion, but how it is helpful to Indian context? Your Johnson model is not applicable or Trainer model is not applicable because the situation is quite different in India. So have you tested any Indian model that this model my model is fit into that or it is deviating?
Sir, I have made the review of literature in Indian context also from various
That
journals.
is review of literature is
Sir,
different.
actually, I have not found any Indian model there, sir.
Acha, this is that
No, no, no. Many Indian models are there, Bishwajit.
Yes,
Many Indian models are there. Amongst them, Doylet is using a model is highly effective to control and manage the Indian funds. And many companies they have got their own models also. They have developed, and RBI also given different four models to adopt to identify the velocity of funds and security management. So you have never referred anything to RBI also. That Professor Misra is very nicely he has pointed out. You see, we are studying all those things looking into Indian context. So you must link all those things: RBI policy, RBI Act, RBI models. RBI given four beautiful models. Who told models are not given?
Sir, thank you, sir. Sir, sorry, sir. So we are the sir, the supervisor, young sir, supervisor, researcher. Definitely, sir, your idea, your suggestion, Professor D.P. Mishra sir's idea, definitely, sir, we will take into consideration in our sir future work. Definitely, sir. So these your ideas and Professor D.P. Mishra sir idea will be helpful, sir. Next time, when we will do.
You see, Dr. Dena, Professor Misra and myself, why we are telling? Because you will
Yes, sir.
find okay, these are the gaps. So it could have been repaired properly because
Yes.
huge amount of time was given and it was identified also in the past report. So it was expected. But
Yes,
anyhow,
sir.
he has done he has put his best effort to do because he is also a newcomer. He has
Yes, sir.
made his best effort to make it possible. But
Yes, sir.
something was lacking from the other side of the things, so that he must be given adequate kind of this kind of like gap must be identified so that he could have done properly. Anyhow, that is not a big
Yes,
issue.
sir.
And thing is that the next process you tell me so that we will take up and we'll finish the perhaps
So
because
now, sir, I will request to Professor D.P. Mishra, sir. So, what are the last part of our the presentation, sir? Kindly, sir, Professor D.P.
ଆତ ସାର୍ ଶୁଣ ମୋ now I am an outsider ମତେ ଆଉ କିଛି
No,
can
no,
you
sir.
take a decision ବୁଝ ନା taking into the presentation reports all these things the decision final decision you say professor ଆମର ଇଏ ଅଛନ୍ତି କିଏ ଯେ ସାହୁ ସାର୍
ନାଇଁ ସାର୍,
ସାରୁ, ସିଏ
nahin,
ଟିକେ
right now, sir, due to network problem or what else, right now, sir, ये Professor Mysore Sahu sir is not with us, sir.
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି let us give the opportunity to Professor Baral to
Yes, sir.
finally say something about his
And
recommendation also.
then will he, sir, conclude our,
Then
sir,
we will close the session.
sir,
It is
Baral sir, kindly.
yeah. So looking into all those kind of discussion and presentation and other gaps also, I expect in future the university will be taking more initiation and become very serious on this. And the supervisor also, I request with a folded hand because you see, in the sake of doing any research, if at all will make volume of papers, it has no meaning. So let us
Yes.
confine within a particular kind of within the jurisdiction that we will be trying to deliver a beautiful kind of like conclusion and a suggestion that it will add value to the society. You tell me, Bishwajit,
Yes.
which way it will add value to the society?
Okay.
Sir, sir, I just presenting my
No,
suggestion.
so, try to understand me. You must give a new thing to the society where again research will be done. You
Yes, sir.
give something to the society.
Scope for the further extension of your
Then
work.
other researcher, what they will be doing? They will follow your research and where you have left. So you must identify okay, these are the pros, these are the cons,
Yes,
these
yes.
are the reasons, these are the problems, and this is the exact, I mean to say presentation. So I studied, these are the gaps, so I have left for the future researchers to take up. Anyhow, I must congratulate the researcher and
Thank
the
you, sir.
guide, Dr. Ravindra Kumar Sahu, and I must congratulate the senior most professor of your university, Professor Devi Prasad Misra, and
Mr. Sir.
other teachers and others, those who have joined in this platform to listen the presentation of the scholar as well as to give their valuable feedbacks for future development. So I must tell them thanks. I must extend my thanks to them, and I must, with a great heart, I am telling that he should be awarded with PhD degree.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Bishwajit Rout
So,
be awarded with PhD.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So far as sir, the candidate has mentioned the scope for the future research due to nervousness, the candidate is not able to,
Nay,
sir,
Dr.
present.
Jana, Dr. Jana, try to listen. This is not nervousness. You are a teacher. Try to understand. He is a scholar. He's
Yes,
an
sir.
assistant professor. He will become a
Yes.
mature teacher. How he will face the classroom? How he will face? How he will facilitate research for others? And always try to give right direction to the scholars.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Definitely will take care, sir, in future.
And
So,
I expect he is going to do excellent in his future endeavors, and he will be doing excellent. And I must tell he's kind of like how he faced the defense with
yes,
many questions he has tried to overcome. But anyhow,
yes, sir.
that is a part of our discussion. But he must be awarded with PhD degree from
Thank
the
you, sir. So, on behalf of the PG Department of Commerce, on behalf of the SRC in the subject of sir Commerce, so I want to thank to Professor Boral sir and senior SRC member, my teacher, and is the teacher of the teachers, Professor DP Misra sir, and SRC member Ramesh Chandra Das, and my teacher also the Professor Mysore Sahu sir and Bishwajit Chatoi sir from Barampur University, research scholars, and my also gratitude to the supervisor, Dr. Rakesh House, sir, and all the students, research scholars from MPhil and PhD. So I must thank you all. Have a nice day. Sir,
Thank you.
Bharat sir, namaskar.
Namaskar,
Devi sir,
Modi
namaskar.
sir.
Sambalu, namaskar.
I
Thank you,
announce.
sir.
Thank
Sir,
you, sir.
thank you, sir. Thank you.
Namaskar.
So, my hearty congratulations to both
Namaskar,
Mr.
Namaskar. Ravindra Rao,
Rao
sir.
and Ravindra Rao, sir. Thank you, sir. And very soon, in one occasion, sir, Boral sir, I will invite you, sir, in one
Okay,
program.
I will be with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, have a
Thank
nice
you.
day. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
साइड रहिलेली बोला